Hey everybody, I am back and I am here today to tell you about the next project I will have for next year is regarding D&D. So I've taken a bit of a break from the D&D stuff. I did the commemorative collector's series Purple Worm not that long ago and really enjoyed that one. But I've been planning on, all along, continuing with the Dungeons & Dragons Adventure board game minis. I had painted a series last spring, which I enjoyed quite a bit, and that was for the Wrath of Ashardalon. And I have had requests to paint the minis from, or to continue and to show more about the D&D Adventure board game miniatures. And so I said that I was going to move on to this set next, which I will, and this is the Castle Ravenloft D&D Adventure board game. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a video series similar to the last one, and so that should start fairly soon, this month or the beginning of January. I did quite like doing that last series. One of the things I liked about it is, many of you know, who watch my channel, is that I quite like Dungeons and Dragons as a genre, and it's just because it goes way back. It's really where I started with fantasy and sci-fi stuff, seriously, as a little kid, a long time ago. And so this is very nostalgic for me, but also I really enjoy the variety, because I mainly I paint a lot of science fiction and Warhammer stuff, and I really enjoy that, but I like to do some of the fantasy stuff too. And I don't play Warhammer, the fantasy-based Games Workshop game. I only play the 40K, and so this allows me that outlet, and then I play the board game with my kids, and so it's nice. And so there are some nice models here, based on what I'd said in the last series of videos. I haven't really inspected these guys yet, but if it's similar to the last group, I would say that there are some very good models for what you pay for with this game in this set, and there are some then there are some where you get some major mold lines and casting issues on a couple of them. And now I haven't looked through these ones to be able to determine which ones are the good ones and not. I grabbed a handful here just to show the set. One of the problems I had is I find the kind of hardness of the plastic in this set makes it a little bit more difficult and a little bit different than getting the mold lines off typical minis like Games Workshop minis that are made for painting. These ones I don't think are made for that purpose, although they can be painted quite easily. Just sometimes you'll get a casting issue or a mold line when you scrape it off, and I'm worried about doing some permanent damage to the mini. And this is not really a mold line, I guess. Yeah, there are some on the corner there, but overall, this is the big piece. This would have been like the Ashardalon dragon, and it's a Dracolich. It's Gravestorm the Dracolich. Looks really cool. It's going to be more like painting a skeleton, I think, that does have some flesh on there, so it could be kind of interesting. And I'll finish the series just like I did with the last one in painting this guy. What I will do is, I've had more requests, interestingly enough, from my subscribers that are into the Dungeons & Dragons to paint how-to videos than my subscribers that are in the Warhammer. I don't really know why that is, but I chalk that up to the fact that Warhammer Games Workshop is a hobby that's very much built around the models and painting and modeling. And so a lot of my subscribers are more peers, folks that I just talk to and enjoy seeing their stuff, and they enjoy seeing my stuff. And also, because I've not been painting forever, I don't consider myself an expert. Some of the folks in the D&D side had liked the way I painted the D&D miniatures from the Ashardalon game, and so in some ways, whether it just be to see one alternative on how to paint them, they may want to paint it a different way, but just to see it, or in some cases I've had requests for just to instruct a little bit on some of the steps that I'm doing. I did that a little bit on the last Ashardalon piece, but frankly, every mini I may do slightly differently, although the basic steps tend to be the same. I think the more you paint, the more you do this kind of stuff, the more you start to break the rules and almost blur the lines between your basing and highlighting and washing and, you know, things. Like people start, you know, like as an example, for those of you that don't know the 40K genre, there's an alien race called the Tyranids. And when I first saw somebody painting them, because I don't have any, I've never painted them, I saw how they primed these aliens, and then for their skeletal structure, they just washed it. And so normally, you know, if you follow the sequence of steps that they teach you when you learn how to paint these things, you know, you would do a base painting first. But you know, when you actually start doing that over and over again and you learn the basic steps, then you start doing, you start breaking the rules and you start learning how each of those techniques can be altered and done in different sequences to create different effects. And so that's where these tutorials, I think, are helpful, and they've been helpful for me in watching YouTube videos. So what I will do is I'm not going to teach on every single one of these. I'm going to mix it up a bit. I'm going to do a series like the last one, so there'll be a playlist to just show the finished product and how each one looks in stages. But then along the way, I will pick certain models that maybe are a little bit different in the way I do a process, and just do a couple of some how-to videos along the way. And you know, I'm happy to do that. I really enjoy this hobby, and there are plenty for folks that were looking in the past. I've tried to point them to other YouTube channels where they have great how-tos, and I still encourage people to do that, to go to those. But for the folks that are into the D&D and had liked the way I painted those, I will do a little bit more instruction this time than I did last time. So happy to do that. I'm glad people enjoyed that series, and that's why I'm doing another one. So okay guys, so that will be coming up soon. I'm just giving you the heads up. And for those of you that haven't seen these, here's a close-up of another one. It is the Flesh Golem, and I've seen some great pictures of this guy on the internet of how people have done this. He's a really cool looking mini. I like some of the physical size on some of these miniatures that you get in this set. Overall, very good value for painting purposes, you know, I think in these games. I hope that they've not completely gone away. I think they've done the 3. Legend of Drizzt, or Driz is another one, and I don't know that they're making another one, but you get over, I think, close to 100 miniatures between the 3 of them. So okay guys, thanks a lot, and this will be coming up shortly.